Sad day at Ewood Park as Captain Fantastic Darragh Lenihan looks set to leave Blackburn Rovers and, of course, join Championship rivals Middlesbrough. But what, of course, are we losing? And, of course, what are they gaining? We're going to take a look at it. All of it next. Backwards giving another video today. We're taking a look at a bit of not a breaking news, bit of shit news coming at you out of Ewood Park. Of course, it's a transfer, but it's of course going the other way, and we'll talk about that in a second. Of course, if you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe to keep back to all things Rovers related, Championship related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one roof. Of course, a lot of the talk around Ewood Park right here, right now, is of course we're waiting for the new manager, but of course we've got no manager, and of course now we've got no captain. Goodness gracious me, it's a shit show at Ewood Park, and hopefully we're about to turn a corner in one way or another. But of course, we'll talk about that in a minute. Of course, big shout out to the other pictures, guys. You know who you are. Thank you for your love, of course, behind the scenes. But anyway, let's get into the meat of the matter in just a second. Now, I am back. This is my first video in a bit of a while, and of course, we're not really back into full flooded action just yet. I'm going to be doing a bit of a rebuild of the channel, and of course, a lot of content will be going away. A lot of content will be coming back, and some more new content will be coming very, very soon. But of course, what we really want to talk about here, right now, is of course the departure of an academy product, a legend in his own right, Darragh Lenihan. That's right. It has been confirmed over the past day or so that he will be seeing out his contract and will be joining his biggest fan, Chris Wilder. That's right. He's been tracking him since his days at Sheffield United. That's right. But now he finally gets his man on a freebie, and of course at his new club, Middlesbrough. Now, Middlesbrough, if you haven't seen my early door instant reaction or instant insanely early championship prediction videos, I have them going all the way. That's right. Going ahead of the likes of Burnley, Watford, Norwich. I think Middlesbrough are going to be the team to stop next season. So in my eyes, I think this is a good move for Darragh Lenihan. Correct. Yes, indeed. I think they're going on to bigger, better things for Middlesbrough. I think they are in a better state than we are right here, right now. Now, of course, we are hopefully going to be in a bit of a transitional phase for Blackburn Rovers, and I'm hoping this new era for Blackburn Rovers is going to be the start of something new. That's right, but it's not going to take. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a season. It might take another 2 or 3 seasons, I think, to see its full potential. But Darragh Lenihan hasn't got that time on his hands. He has to make that move now. And for me, he's doing the right thing for his career. If he stays with Blackburn Rovers, yes, it is always very, very hard and very, very sad to say goodbye to academy products, which we've done in recent years. Of course, David Raya went on to bigger, better things with Brentford. Of course, they were in the Championship when he made the move. But look at him now. He's actually in contention to go to the World Cup as one of Spain's goalkeeping contingent. That's a major move for David Raya. And of course, looking back now for him, he'll say, yeah, you know what, that was a great move by me. But for me, the major negative for this is that it's going to this. It's resulted in this. We'll let them go for absolutely peanuts. Yes, we may have sold them in the past for a couple of million, but we're letting them go for nothing. Yes, and on the back of probably his best season in a Blackburn Rovers shirt. He's made it into countless teams of the season this season. And of course, we're letting him go for nothing. And of course, he's El Capitano as well. But anyway, let's take a look at the numbers. Of course, makes Darragh Lenihan so fantastic. Okay then, folks, let's take a look at what makes Darragh Lenihan so special then, shall we? Of course, here we go. That's right. We've seen his transfer value rise over the years. Of course, he's been with us since 2013. We're knocking on a decade. Didn't get the testimonial over the line, but of course, he's been through us, through thick and thin. He did have one brief spell on loan to Burton now. Been to play a few games for them. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But as you can see, his value has steadily been rising over the course of the last few seasons. Of course, it wasn't until about the back end of the 2019-2020 season he was close to 2 million. And of course, he leaves us today ranked in roughly around about £3 million. That's right. Of course, here he is, Captain Fantastic as well. Let's take a look at some of those rankings over the course of this season. He's ranked 2,555th in the world for in players' rankings this season. That's of course across all the leagues, not just the Championship, but of course world football. He's 92. He's been ranked 92nd in amongst the players of the Championship this season as a whole. Again, all positions, goalkeepers, strikers, everything, centre-backs, which he would rank in there. He was the fifth number 5 for Blackburn Rovers, top 5, of course, for Rovers this season, the 15th best player for Ireland as well, and of course 448th ranked centre-back, and of course 225th ranked, of course, for players born in 1994. I don't know who any other ones are there. This is, of course, his heat map for the season. Of course, right-sided centre-back, that's what Middlesbrough are going to get. Of course, I've seen some comparisons on Twitter for folks saying that he might not even get in the squad at Middlesbrough. Jick Steele's got that spot down on toast right now, right-sided centre-back, so he's going to have to oust him to get in there. But, of course, Wilder is a big fan. Maybe he's not a big fan of Jick Steele, but he will probably compete for that slot in a back 3. But, of course, it could be completely different next season. Who knows what's in fashion as well next season. Take a look at him. Of course, he is 28th, born in, of course, 15th of March 1994. Plays centre-back and right back. We did see him do that spot for the back end of the season as well. Some of his stats, of course, on the screen for you right here. Pretty savvy amongst us as well. A little bit more on him, of course. Take a look at him this season. 14 clean sheets this season. 1.5 interceptions per game. 1.7 tackles per game as well. And of course, clearances 4.1 on average. His passing stats look like this: 1 assist this season, 65.1 touches per game, big chances created, 5 of them. What else are we looking at here? Successful dribbles, not really fussed about that. He did pick up 9 yellows this season and a red as well. So he's got a bit of a red mist to knock around with. 41 times he played this season. He started all 41 of them as well, averaging around about 88 minutes per game. Teams of the week 5. That's right. And of course, attacking stats. He did get 3 goals from centre-back, set-piece extraordinaire, which were very, very crucial in our early bit of form this season. Moving on, let's take a look at, of course, as his stats there. Of course, his Burton Albion stats were there. 17 times he's played for them back in 2014-2015 season. He's been with us all the way back since 2013-2014. And, of course, made his debut in the 14-15 season. That's, of course, when he went on loan. But as you see, season by season, the numbers went up. He did have a bit of a blip in League One, bit of an injury crisis. I don't know what went on. I can't remember that far back, why it was only 14 times he's played, but of course he's been ever present really since then. So he's been with us. He's been the main guy for the past 3 seasons in the Championship, and he will be in the Championship again next season with, of course, Middlesbrough at the helm. So yeah, he's a key player, monstrous player we've had this season, and of course there's a leader on the field. But of course it's not just my thoughts about this. Let's take a look at some of the Roverseas mafiosos' thoughts about Darragh Lenihan coming at you right here right now. So there's some, of course, might be positive thoughts, some a little bit not so much, but of course feel free to jot your own comment down below in the comment section. Of course, I'd like to review your thoughts as well.
So Darragh Lenihan is set to make a move to fellow Championship side Borough in the coming days. 4-year deal apparently on the table for him. Can I blame him? No, not really. I mean, at this moment in time, it seems the club is in limbo. I feel like if we would have been able to get our hands on Farker or Carvajal, those real standout options that were on the table for us, I feel like that could have potentially swayed Lenihan, and maybe that's why now that those options are no longer available, he has chose to obviously get in talks with Borough, who have a brilliant manager there in Wilder, who, I'm sure I would be shocked if Wilder didn't at least get them playoffs next season. Whereas for Blackburn, I can't see it. I think next season is going to be a transition season at best. Some people are starting to get a bit worried now about relegation, what could be on the cards. I can't see us getting relegated next season, but we may be down there. We very well could be. I can't see us having a successful season in terms of getting playoffs and getting one better than we did this season. We're losing Joe Rothwell, Darragh Lenihan, our captain, obviously. Ryan Nyambe is more than likely going to leave too. And then you factor into that, 99% sure that Diaz will also go, because we can't afford to let his contract run down. So we have to cash in with the 20 million or so we'll get for Diaz. And then you're looking at this current squad, who's going to step up and replace those goals, and it's then looking at the Venkies to invest some of that money, which, we sold Armstrong for a similar amount last season and didn't invest it. We just got extremely lucky that Diaz teared the league up like he did and hit the ground running. Else last season we wouldn't have been anywhere near the playoffs if it weren't for Diaz. So, are you going to expect Venkies to bring in a forward who's, 5 million, whatever, or maybe give someone the wages like Lucas Shaw, get him in? That's what you're looking at, I guess. But back to Lenihan, I mean, I remember him debuting. He was a holding midfielder for Rovers and then he's obviously been put in defence. And, he's been an all-round good servant to this club. I just had a look. He's been here for a decade. You can't grumble with him wanting to move on and try and make it to the Premier League, because I know he would have loved to have done it with Blackburn. I'm sure he would tell you that, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be happening at least this season. And, you could maybe say if buts and maybes about the season after, once a manager hopefully comes in, does well this season, gets us a mid-table finish and then build on that. But, he's no spring chicken. I think he's 28 now. So, he needs to make that move, and I don't blame him for it. He'll be on a lot more money at Borough, I would have thought as well. They'll probably double, if not triple, his wages. So I can't blame him. He's been a good captain. He's led by example. He's fought very well. He's been very good in that back three with his passing ability to just switch the play brilliantly. But I mean, I've just seen a post on Twitter. If Nyambe was to leave along with Lenihan, there would only be one player left at the club from that League One promotion season. That would be Bradley Dack. And personally, I think I would be giving him the captain's armband if Lenihan is to go and these rumours are true, which they do seem they are. I think Bradley Dack has matured a lot since his first injury. I think he's starting to speak and act like a captain now. And, he is one of the older players at the club now. Bradley Johnson's gone. There's only Ayala who's over 30, I believe. Maybe Kaminsky. But, Bradley Dack is probably the third, fourth oldest player at the club now. 28, I believe he is. So I'd be giving him the captain's armband personally. I think, he bleeds blue and white. I can see him playing here until he's no longer able to, until he's no longer up to scratch. I think that Premier League move is kind of gone now for him, unfortunately, with the injuries he sustained. He definitely could have made that at one point, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. But, I would love for him to captain Blackburn Rovers and be the captain that got us to the Premier League if that was possible in the next couple of seasons, because I can see him sticking around for at least another 3-4 years, Dacky. So yeah, I think he's more than capable of taking that armband now, to be honest. Like I said, I wouldn't have thought that prior to his first injury, but I think he'll, he's got big boots to fill with Darragh Lenihan. He's a quality class act, Darragh Lenihan, and I do wish him every best of luck at Borough. It's going to be hard to see him in that red and white strip and not in the blue and white. But I'm sure they'll have a good season next season. And yeah, I'm interested to see who would get the captain's armband. You have to probably chuck in other players like Lewis Travis. Obviously, he's been getting it recently, but I feel like when Lewis has been the captain, I don't think we've actually won a game when Lewis has been captain, and maybe you got to put that down to the fact that Lenihan isn't on the pitch. We're obviously weaker, but I think Lewis Travis, I've seen him like when we was at Blackpool away, he was getting very loud-mouthed and getting in Ayala's face and stuff, and he was the captain that day, and maybe let it get to his head a bit. And then at Coventry away as well, there was similar scenes between him and Van Eck, I think I'm going to say, like getting very mouthy. And I'm not sure whether Lewis Travis is my first choice. I think I'd definitely say Dack. That isn't just because I think Dack's a better player, but I just think Dack probably commands more respect, isn't as mouthy, wouldn't let the power get to his head, I don't think, and is more of a calming presence, whereas think Travis is a very animated person. It's two very different styles of captains. You'd probably maybe consider Ayala. I mean, he's obviously been at the club for 2 seasons now. He's definitely the oldest player at the club, but how much is he going to feature? You know, obviously with his injury record, he probably wouldn't be playing that much. So, you know, maybe not the best option. But I think it's only between them three, and only really two, to be honest. But I'd be interested to see what other people think. You know, in the comments, give us who you think should be captain out of those three, I guess. So if there's someone else, maybe Kaminsky could be a nod for the captain, but I don't feel like he's animated enough, and he's not shown to me he's a leader in any way, really, Kaminsky. Or maybe Scott Wharton, for example, home boy, a Blackburn fan. You know, his mum used to teach me at St Wilfred's at sport and PE, and I remember him getting his debut and how happy she was. Like, he is a very much Blackburn lad. I think he's one for the future for sure. I don't think he's ready just now, but yeah, leave your comments down below. I'd be really interested to see who you lot think should be the next Rovers captain when Lenihan does leave.
So Darragh Lenihan's left and he's joined Middlesbrough. How do I feel about it? Disappointed. He's been a big player for us. Been a real big asset over the years for the defence. Was his heart in it for Rovers anymore? Debatable, I'm not sure. Some of his performances in the season weren't that good, but overall, you know, his performances have been really good overall during his Rovers career, and I just feel like the club weren't prepared to offer him what he wanted. Middlesbrough were, and it's arguably a sideways move for him. But, you know, Middlesbrough have got a good manager, Chris Wilder, so, you know, there's every chance that he could be a component of Middlesbrough getting promoted. And I'd like to see him get a chance in the Premier League to see what he can do. Whether he'll get that chance, I'm not sure. But there's an argument to say, well, as things currently stand, that he's got a better chance to go up with Middlesbrough. You know, 'cause Blackburn Rovers don't have a manager, but hopefully that will be resolved, you know, very soon. You know,
to be honest, I didn't think it was true, because I've seen it on so many different sources saying so many different things. But now obviously it's on Middlesbrough's equivalent to Lancashire Telegraph, and Lancashire Telegraph, it is obviously true. The good memories that I've had with Lenihan being on Rovers' team is obviously all the good goals that he's scored in League One and obviously the Championship. As well as obviously I have met him as well at the Rovers store. It was a meet and greet before COVID, and he took time out of his day to meet all the Rovers fans, take photographs, sign things, and I got a photograph of him and I got him to sign the paper flag that we all got given on the last game of the season in League One, because he actually featured on it. And he was such a nice guy. He spoke to us, and it was just what you want in a player. You don't want him to be arrogant, do you? Arrogant and ignorant. You don't want that in a football player at Rovers, really, do you? I'm also happy for him as well. Like, obviously, he's the captain of Rovers currently as I'm recording this. But obviously, if he can find, like, be in the first team every single game, because obviously the past couple of games he hasn't really been in the first team for not a full game anyway. He's been took off, hasn't he? So if he can find being in the first team every single game for the whole game, then good on him. Obviously it's a new start, new team, new county, new area, northwest to northeast. You know what I mean? It is a big loss for us, because obviously now we're going to have to find the money to replace him, because we need a championship defender that's obviously at his level, if not above, because if we don't do that, then you can see the difference in the team once he's gone. So Rovers need to think about that, and they need to get a good enough defender in to actually be able to replace him. If that's from the youth team, I don't know. But obviously with them coming up from the youth team, you don't know what they're actually like in the first team against other first teams. They might be really good in the youth team, but they might be absolutely shocking in our first team, the proper first team. So we'll all just have to wait and see what happens in terms of replacing him. But finally, I don't think Darragh will actually see this video, but if he does, I just wanted to say thank you for everything that he's done for Rovers. It is much appreciated, and you'll be missed at Rovers, Darragh.
So, big news today coming out of Blackburn, of course, is that Darragh Lenihan, captain, deciding to move on. I think there's two sides to this. Firstly, of course, we probably weren't willing to offer him what he could potentially get elsewhere. And secondly, maybe looking for new opportunities. And it also comes down to how much Blackburn actually valued him at the end of the day. I mean, you've got, I think, Ayala, who's earning £15,000 a week, who's really sitting on the bench most of the time. Did we offer Darragh Lenihan £15,000? I'm not sure what we did end up offering, but I think it is quite a bit of a blow to lose your captain. That being said, moving across to Middlesbrough, yes, maybe they're going to be pushing for playoff place next season, but is it really a step forward? Is he going to reach those peaks of the Premier League with them? And also just shows how highly rated was Darragh Lenihan really. Was he, doesn't seem like there were many Premier League clubs coming in for him. On the Blackburn side, of course, he's been there for 11 years, or somewhere around there, I think. Came up through the academy, been a good servant, but I do think we've got a ready-made replacement in Carter. I think he was outstanding for Portsmouth last year. I think he impressed a lot of people there. Him and Wharton at the back, depending on maybe Ayala, three at the back, depending, of course, how the new manager wants to play. But all in all, I think let's see, more importantly, who the new manager is coming in. Once we've got that sorted, maybe we get another defender in as some backup there, another Van Heck, hopefully. And I think we'll be fine. We'll do okay. But always a sad day when an old warhorse leaves you. But we'll be fine. Onwards and upwards, and let's look forward to a new manager coming through.
Alright everyone, so the news is more or less like 90% confirmed that Lenihan will be leaving Rovers this season. And in all honesty, I do think it's sad to see. He's been a great servant of the club. He's been with us since an academy age. I think he's only had a couple of loan spells out at Burton. But yeah, for me, he's been a really good player for us, a really good servant. Is moving to Middlesbrough the right sort of move for him? Well, it's a good championship side to go to, if I'm going to be honest. I think they're more likely to get the playoffs than us. So I think if he's moving there, it's not a bad overall move. It's not too much of an upgrade. It's pretty much similar to our club level, I would say, if I'm being all honest here. But on a free, under a manager who they actually know, because Rovers, let's be honest, we don't know who we're getting at the minute. And I think that's probably played a big impact on Lenihan deciding to go up to Middlesbrough. But yeah, he's been a good player, really. I know I've read some stuff on the Rovers group chat on Facebook saying he's not going to be missed. He's not that good of a player. But for me, he's our captain. Of course, you're going to miss him. He's been a crucial player for us for at least 6-7 seasons now. Helped us massively out in League One. Even though we were injured for a bit, but when he come back, he helped out massively. Helped us stay in the lead. The season after League One, the full squad helped perform in championship levels with him. Really, I think he's definitely going to be missed. But is it right time for him to go on and do new things? Probably is, because he's been with us for, like I said, for academy. He might want to go try out a different club, move up to somewhere new, try a new experience for him, see if it goes well for him. But yeah, he's been a key player for us. Hopefully Hayden Carter can step up. If not, Ash Phillips can come in. It's going to be really interesting to see what our defensive lineup is going to look like next season. Because if Vanal is fully fit, that's a good replacement. But he's an injury prone, so it's either going to be Carter or Ash Phillips, or we might even get Van Eck on loan, even though that's very unlikely. But that would be good if we did. But yeah, he's been a great player for us. All I can say is thank you to him. Really, there's no hatred towards him wanting to move. Probably on a lot more money than he is. They've got bigger budget than us as Middlesbrough. So yeah, I wish him all the best.
Meanwhile, what's been said on social media? Let's take a little look then, shall we? We are the Rovers. Said good luck to Darragh Lenihan at Borough. A bit of a sideways move with all due respect, but you can't knock him if he's getting more dosh. Fair play, I think, will be okay. Not exactly had watertight defence these last few years, so it's time for a full rebuild anyway. Matthew Blackwood said, disappointed we are losing Darragh Lenihan, especially for nothing. I wish him all the best. The opportunity, though, for Hayden Carter opens up indeed. They're pretty much carbon copy when you look at them. Of course, Hayden Carter, right-sided centre-back, has been played right back a little bit for Portsmouth this past season. And again, is earned his stripes now. And of course, one goes out, one goes in. Yes, it does suck that we don't get no cash. Meanwhile, David Lachman said, Darragh, you've been great servant to the club. Wish you and your family all the best of luck in the future endeavours. Daniel Slater, of course, one of the Roverseas mafioso. He says, good luck, Darragh. Thank you for everything you've done for us. Indeed, Daniel Cooper said, thanks for the service, all the best. Money talks, but then again, the uncertainty at the club doesn't help. At least we know his weaknesses when we play them next season. Indeed, Jonathan Lobb said, good luck to him. Sideways move, in my opinion, moves an obstacle from Hayden Carter's progress, which is a positive, because he did look very, very good. And he also scored a Bobby Dazzler, if you haven't seen it, of course, on the old on the Portsmouth YouTube. Check it all out there. Meanwhile, Mark Wells said, good luck to him. Don't blame him wanting to move on amid try something else. Probably his last big contract, massive loss both on and off the field. Going to be difficult to replace that kind of leadership. And that's, of course, a video to talk about later. Maybe, of course, who is going to be the new captain? Will it be Travis? Will it be Kaminsky? Will it be somebody else? Adam Worthington said, surprised at the timing with the new manager to come in soon. Depending on who we get, it could be a backward step for him, hopefully. Probably doubled his wages, though. Can't argue with that for him. Good luck, Darragh, of course. Don Goodley said, decent player when fit, but in my opinion, it's not a massive loss. We have had one very good surprise this week, so let's wait and see. Meanwhile, Matthew, a.k.a. 81 Rover, come on you Blues, he said, good player, would have liked him to stay, but players move on, it happens. Rovers well stocked at under 23s in that position. And Mike Delap said, very sad end, great servant for Rovers and conducted himself marvellously, even when it was fairly obvious he would leave in the last few months. Well, those were the short takes of the folks on Twitter. And, of course, you heard from the Roverseas Mafia. And, of course, maybe a little bit about me. Yeah, it sucks. This one sucks. It hurts. Of course, David Raya was also painful when he left. And it's probably going to be the same for Ryan Nyambe as well. The academy prospects hurt hardest the most for me. And, of course, especially when they go for absolutely nothing. And I'm going to have a little bit of a distasteful taste in my mouth for the players. Of course, for me, as a guy, or not for me, but let's just say, let's take the club, for example, bringing these guys, give them the chance in football for them as a player to leave the club that gave them the chance for absolutely fuck all is a bit of a kick in the bollocks. You know what I mean? David Ryan at least had a little bit of decency or left when there was time on his contract, so Rovers could benefit from the departure. So for me, that's where it hurts the most. We're letting this guy in his prime go away for nothing. Zero. Same can be said for David Raya as well. And again, hopefully there is still a little bit of a glint or a little bit of hope that deal, the contract may get re-signed by Ryan Nyambe. That, of course, will not leave us in a position like this. That's why the sales of Adam Armstrong with a year to go, big bad boy Brereton Diaz with a year to go, are a little bit more palatable. We can take those on the chin because we're getting something in return. Darragh Lenihan, we've been here for 9 years, knocking on 9 years or whatever. You're going for nothing. You're leaving your parent club, the club that gave you your chance, for nothing. That's where it hurts the most. But again, I think you have to blame. You can put a bit of blame on the player, thinking, you know what, maybe I should give these guys something, in return for giving me the chance. But of course, maybe you could also push that onto the hierarchy for letting his contract get to this stage in the first place. Maybe if there was no indication that he was going to sign at the start of the season, we probably should have sold him then. So a little bit of course, a kick in the bollops financially for that one. We're letting a guy go. It's probably worth around about 5 million, I think, in the grand scheme of things. And again, he could come and bite us in the arse next time around. He's probably got 4 years left, top football, of course, and with Middlesbrough, he's probably going to a place where they are more likely to get that ahead of us in the first time. For me, next season is a transitional one. If we get top half of the season, we're punching above our weight. I think Darragh Lenihan wants to play and experience Premier League football at some stage of his career, and of course, he hasn't got that long left in the grand scheme of things. But that's it, guys. That's it. I do appreciate the thanks on the old Roverseas Mafia, and of course, I also appreciate your comments down below, so make sure you smash that in as well. But until then, guys, I'll see you soon for some more content over the next few weeks, as of course we look forward to the new season. Who's going to be the manager? That's of course to be decided very, very soon. And of course, we do expect Joe Rothwell and Big Bad Boy Diaz also to leave the club, as well as possibly Ryan Naomi. But until then, guys, I'll see you soon for the next one. We are done right now.